to the sentimentalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Sentimentalists, where today we continue Nostalgia November with The Great Gatsby, released on May 10th, 2013. Based on the novel by F. Scott Fitzgerald, written for the screen by Craig Pierce and Baz Luhrmann, directed by Baz Luhrmann. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, buddy?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And, man, I'm so excited to be talking about The Great Gatsby today. It's a movie I've held very near and dear for a very long time, and it's one I continually forget how much I enjoy. How'd you feel about this revisit?
Yes, this is not one that I have an ultimate nostalgia connection to, but because I can't figure it out, but it was introduced to me, I think, in middle school. It is my best guess. It was either middle school or high school.
It did come out in 2013, so
okay,
we would have been in 8th grade. Or
that,
we were finishing our 7th grade year, heading into our 8th grade year in May of 2013.
So it probably wouldn't have been 8th grade then, because if it was
probably
brand
high
new,
school.
no way they have it. Yeah, it would.
Yeah,
but I remember the book. I feel like, yes, it the book I feel like was pushed onto us, but any book for me, I didn't quite pay attention to. So like right. I've known of this movie obviously, and for a very long time. I feel like I've watched it the one time in school and one time out, but it didn't until this watch. Could I not appreciate? I feel like the movie for what it actually is. Before was just all like, oh, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. This is a good movie.
Yeah,
It is my boy Spider-Man in there. It's like,
exactly.
it's like, and this must just be a good movie. But now it's like, no, the romance, the story,
it's a gorgeous movie based off a gorgeous book, and I regarded The Great Gatsby, the novel, as my favorite book of all time for a very long time, to the point where it's kind of my automatic answer whenever people ask me my favorite book. But books, for me, much like movies, kind of hard to just be like, yep, this is the one. So when it comes to Great Gatsby, and this is a funny thing to co-opt as it is classic American literature, so it is not just my book, but I consider it my book. Like it's the one that I've connected with for the longest time. It's definitely the book I've read the most. I enjoy the book to no end, and I enjoy the movie almost every bit as much. I think that Baz Luhrmann has a style that will not work for everybody. Like that's a certainty. That it's not a palatable experience watching a Baz Luhrmann movie. You can't just be like, oh, everybody will like this. You look at Elvis, you look at this, you look at his Romeo and Juliet adaptation with Leonardo DiCaprio from the mid-90s, Moulin Rouge, just an incredible filmography that is steeped in people kind of arguing about whether or not it's good. And I think those are kind of my favorites, though. I love when stuff like that happens for a creator who is making exactly what they want to make the way they want to make it. So to me, that's kind of always going to be good. I don't know. And Baz Luhrmann has just an incredible sensibility for editing, for filmmaking. I think he's just got such an innovative vision that I think the only comparison I can really think of is George Miller, the guy who made the Mad Max Fury Road and Furiosa. There's a little bit of that in there, but there's also a little Sam Raimi, like there's that moment whenever Tobey Maguire is writing in his journal and the pages are overlapping and you're kind of like, wow, this is straight out of Spider-Man 2002, literally the same actor with the same overlays and everything like that. Instead of drawing, he's writing. But that's really cool. I think that Baz Luhrmann is an incredible director, and I think that this is just a really good movie. And as it is Nostalgia November, last week I asked you, what motivated your choice of robots. And my choice of The Great Gatsby is much more steeped in the namesake of this podcast, the sentimentalists. My reasoning is incredibly sentimental, and this movie and the story told is just so foundational to my outlook, and it's evolved a lot. But there were years, throughout high school where like I think it's interesting how much fiction and the stories you take in can shape the person you are and the perspective on things you have, because and I don't want to for some it's not fiction, but like the Bible
yeah
for some it's not fiction, and like I don't want to act I don't know better than any, but like that's the kind of effect certain books, movies, and shows had on me growing up, is that I'm like, oh, this is shaping my philosophy, this is shaping the person I am, and I kind of want it to, which is what religious texts do. But this movie specifically takes me to a very specific place, a very specific time, and most importantly, puts me with a very specific person. And I'm fortunate enough to be 25 years old, going on 26, and I haven't lost family. Both sets of my grandparents are still around. All my aunts, all my uncles, my brothers, my parents, everybody that I grew up around is still around. So when it comes to a person embodying my nostalgia, the only choice for me is my first love. The girl I met when I was 11 and had a basically an on and off relationship all the way up until I was 20. Which is obviously a very formative period of your life also. So, this was a movie that I remember going to her house. I remember walking through the door and, interacting with her family briefly. And then we'd go up the stairs, up to this lifted loft area. And I can just see it so vividly. Right when you get up the stairs, there's a TV in the corner. There's a love seat to your left. There's a couch on the left, against a wall. And we would sit on that couch and we would watch movies, talk, whatever. And I remember that this one was just one that we loved. We loved watching this. And, it's a strange sort of, it ended up kind of being like, I don't know if it's self-fulfilling prophecy, like, we loved, and obviously this plays out in a very extreme manner and it's only self-fulfilling prophecy to a point, or if the movie genuinely was kind of like prophetic for us. Whenever, I remember everything. And I choose to remember a lot of good. I think that it's an interesting line to toe whenever you're dealing with specifically your first love is a very interesting person to think about, because I think your heart is always kind of like, there's a part of your heart that's always kind of reserved by them, and not in a capacity that's like, oh, I'm deeply in love with this person. No, but I have substantial love for that person. Like I call me, this is happening. I need you. Can you come here? I'm gonna do my best. Like I'm a try. And I think that whenever I look back on this movie, I don't know, it felt very foundational to that connection I shared with that person, which is very, very cool.
Yeah, look, love that might not be, the wrong time or right person, wrong time, however you want to look at it. But either way, it was, love that happened before that allowed you to love the way you do now. In a way.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like without going through that experience, you wouldn't you wouldn't know your heart, or you wouldn't know, you know, how you love and everything like that. And so
wouldn't
it's
know
like
how I love, wouldn't know what I want, wouldn't know what I'm looking for. You know, like that's it's extremely foundational. And one of the characters that was most foundational for me when I was that young, and I thought this is the be all end all of what it means to love, was Jay Gatsby. You know, like I was, and love doesn't end, you know, like, no matter how far removed you are, you find your way back, and that is how it is going to be. And, you know, you'll do it at the cost of anything. And that was kind of, there's several things that also make me nostalgic during this period that also kind of fed that. One of my favorite sitcoms of all time that I watched for the first time when I was 14 or 15, which is right around a couple years after this, you know, was How I Met Your Mother. And I remember there's this scene where Ted Mosby, the main character, played by Josh Radnor, says what love is to him, which is that love is, you know, if he could just throw it away, if he could just give it up, then it's some disposable thing. It's not love. And at the time when I was 15, I was like, whoa, yeah, this just changed my life. I grow up a little bit and I realized that's not true, but you know, yeah, but at the time I was like, holy shit, yeah. And it connects me back to Jay Gatsby, and I'm like, that's exactly that, you know? So again, going back to the fact that I had somebody in my life who was my be all end all for let's say 7 years of my life. Knew them for 9 years, to the point whenever we kind of drifted apart, but 7 years of my life where we like on again, off again, on again, off again. It was always like, oh, they're back together. Oh, they aren't, but they are. And it's just very, very fascinating to kind of put yourself in that position where I was, you know, I remember we started dating in 7th grade, you know, so we're babies. We're just real young. It was March of 2013. So, like very young. Have our first kiss in April at a screening of like 42. And again, that makes me incredibly nostalgic. We talked about that on Moonrise
42.
Kingdom. 42,
Damn,
not exactly a romance movie. It was one of those preordained, like, hey, we're going to go see a movie tomorrow. And like, so
it landed the smooch though.
Do you think tomorrow might be the day we might, kiss for the first time? And yeah, so it was preordained and everything. And that was like, I remember that very vividly. So like, there's this sound with, there's this scene of David Cornsweet in a show called Hollywood that's kind of gone viral on TikTok, because of Superman, where he talks about the power of movies, and the power of the movie theater and the experience. And he says, like, my first kiss was in a movie theater. The movie theater, you know, shaped my life. And I'm like, I love that I actually have that experience too. I love that was where my first kiss was. That, as a movie fan, that makes me extremely happy. And even that makes me incredibly nostalgic. And it's one of those things that I try not to feel guilty about, because, like I said, nostalgia is a hell of a drug, but you can't get lost in it. It can't be like, oh, well, this was, like, for example, a couple weeks ago, me and Emily go to see Begonia, the new Yorgos Lanthimos movie with Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, all them. And someone had our seats, which are the front seats. So I was like, man, what's the next available thing in the middle? And it was the back row. And we, you know, like she like poked me on the shoulder and she gave me a kiss. And I was like, it immediately, you know, like I immediately was like, oh my God, I don't think I've kissed somebody in a movie theater in years, you know, like a genuine, like, 'cause you know, it's kind of tacky, but it's cute, you know, like I personally think it's really, really cute. So whenever I look back at being a 14-year-old in the movie theater, just elated to be kissing somebody in that movie theater. Oh my God. And can't tell you how many movies we paid to go see that, I mean, not a lick of that shit got washed. It was just like waiting. It was like a build up, kissing for 2 hours. The movie ends. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Let's go see another movie. And I feel so bad for other audience members for having to be around 14-year-olds who wouldn't stop kissing.
It's just part of the
That's
times.
just part of life. It's part of life.
But a weird thing, every movie theater I'm in now, like that's just not. I don't know. Maybe I'm just choosing to avoid it, or I sit more in the front so I don't notice it. But like, has that just gone away? I feel like I don't know. Maybe like movie theaters are just down. They're not as what they used to be. But I feel like it's not like
back
the date
then I
spot
could
anymore.
I mean, it's a lot more expensive, which is funny.
That's
like
true.
it's always been regarded as expensive, but tickets then were like $6 or $7, which is fucking crazy.
Damn. Yeah, but
yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many movies. I mean, 42, The Guardians of the Galaxy, that shitty Scarlett Johansson movie called Lucy. The
I'm
way
using
back.
100% of my brain. Yes,
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm like so many movies where we just, I mean, not a second of it got watched. So I quote unquote saw Guardians of the Galaxy in the movie theater, but I did not see Guardians of the Galaxy in the movie theater.
Wow.
But yeah, so I mean, on again, off again for years there, and there came a point where, she got another boyfriend. I want to say we were juniors. Yeah, I want to say we were juniors. Dated this guy for 3 years, I think, ish. And you know, on my classic Jay Gatsby shit, guy, guy was not a good guy. Guy was, and that's not just me being like I felt cheated, like I felt like I was I should have been. No, the guy sucked. I know that. She knows that. But I mean, carried out a very long, like I said, on again, off again for 7 years until we were 20. And
maybe for example.
Yeah, we'll call him Tom. And for 3 years, and for 3 of those years, she was a whole ass in a relationship, which is not ideal. Probably the worst thing I've ever done, which is good relatively. Yeah. You could do a lot worse, but it's not great. Kind of one of those things I feel pretty bad about. But I also not really. I don't have a lot of regret. It's just one of the worst things. Probably the worst thing I've ever done, but I don't really regret it. Which relatively it means that the worst thing you've ever done isn't that awful.
And
but
it's out of love, is like,
and it's out of love. That was the thing, is that I felt justified. I was like, this is in the name of something good. Now obviously I didn't get shot and end up in a pool. She didn't end up marrying that guy.
Thankfully.
Thankfully. And that's the other thing, is that like, we spent years on again, off again. And, I remember when I went to Columbia for school, she was in Columbia for school, so was her boyfriend, but didn't matter.
Yep.
So, I remember the last time we kissed. I remember the last time there was a point that came in our relationship where I could tell. I was like, okay, well, it's just never going to happen for me. It's just never going to happen for me, and that's okay. So I cherished every single moment. Because I was like, this could be the last time. And the last time that I remember was the last time. And, that was, it's just really interesting to have someone in your life who was so important for so long. And then just kind of be like, all right, well, that's that.
And you're just supposed to move on. You're just supposed to
move on.
Live
and
normally. It's like, huh?
I did it. I did it. 2020, March of 2020, which is like a weird coincidence. It was like 7 years after we officially started dating in 7th grade.
777.
777. She'd said, she hit me up. They'd been broken up for about 6 months. I thought it was important to give her space. I was like, not give her space, but not immediately swoop in. I was like, you need to know who you are outside of a relationship, because if you haven't been with me, you've been with him, and like you got to figure out you before you jump back in. And she figured out her. She came back to me about a couple months later, and was like, let's do it. Let's figure this thing out. And I was like, nah. You know, we've tried extensively. We've done it time and again, and it just hasn't worked. And I've enjoyed being your friend, and I really value you. And you know, I think it might be best if we just be friends. And she said she understands. That's perfectly reasonable. I told her that maybe one day down the road we could work this out. And she said, and I was also like, I don't mean that to imply that you should wait for me. I would never expect that of you, but I just think that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen naturally, and I don't think it should be now. And she said she understood. She was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And so I was like, so friends. And that was the last real conversation we had. Which sucks. Really sucks. But that's not her, like, that's not her fault. That's just the way things are. I've been there, you know. After I also had a girlfriend my senior year. I had a different girlfriend when I graduated high school that was not her. Who I also loved dearly. She meant the world to me, but I was never able to give myself fully to her because part of my heart was reserved for this person who's in a relationship who I'm just hoping gets out of it soon. And that was incredibly unfair to her. Every girl I dated in high school, I was just half there, and that's just so unfair, you know? And it sucks, but, you know, it's fascinating to think about what ifs and what could have beens. You know, I'm incredibly compelled by that idea. Not in a way that's like, God, I wish it would have gone that way. No, not at all. But just different life paths. There's only a couple moments specifically that I think something could have genuinely changed the trajectory of my life. You know, which is if she had broken up with him when we were both in Colombia. That probably would have changed my life. I probably wouldn't have left Colombia. I probably would have stayed. And if I didn't, she probably would have left with me one way or another. You know, like one way or another, if she'd broken up with him, we would have stayed in Colombia or we would have left together. And therein, I wouldn't have gotten the job I got. I wouldn't have wouldn't have met Emily. I would have a completely different looking life. And the other one, the even more interesting one to me is that conversation in 2020. If by some divine intervention, I had known in that moment, it actually would be the last time it was offered to me. Would I have changed my answer? Not the reasoning. The reason it was the last time is beautiful. I don't regret a second of it. I'm incredibly glad I said it. I know she's incredibly glad I said it. She's married with a kid now. I found the love of my life. That never would have happened if I would have said something different in 2020. You know what I'm saying? We both met the loves of our lives within the year. You know what I'm saying? Like, within the year, we'd found the person we intend to spend the rest of our lives with. And I think that makes it all 100% worth it. You know, every little domino that falls that leads you to that moment, I think is beautiful, which also goes back to the reason that I value her in that capacity. She, you know, like I said, shaped things. The outline of my life is completely different because she was in it. And that's an incredibly beautiful thing. It's also the reason that, you know, we have different reads of certain movies, specifically Past Lives. That's one that I remember when we talked about, fresh off of you watching it, I told you what I thought about it, you told me what you thought about it, and we had slightly different interpretations of what Greta Lee was going through in that last second. Whenever she does break down in her husband's arms. And I was like, oh no, she's staying with him. And you were like, really? I think she's leaving. That's why I know she's not leaving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I haven't lived it, but I know enough to know that when it comes to the person who was your first love, I mean, you give me a night out on the town alone with Emma. Oh shit, sorry. You give me a night out on the town alone with her. There's that exact tension that exists in Past Lives is there the entire time. There's just that's why I love.
You can do about it. Yeah.
No, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just again, it's nostalgia. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. The person you become, the person you were, and it's really, really interesting that this movie, features an affair that happens against a piece of shit. There's this moment whenever Jay and Daisy are sitting on the couch in Nick's house, and he walks back in and he like rattles pans and he shakes shit and they can't stop. Like I was looking through texts to see like for reference for this story, and I have a text from a friend who was like, never ever ask me to be there again. Ever. I fucking hate it. I was like, why? What's wrong? I feel like I don't exist when you guys are together. I'm like, Jesus, I'm sorry you feel that way. And she's like, no, it's cool. Y'all love each other. There's a magnetism there that just does not go away. And that it's an incredibly intimate feeling, and I experience it with Emily completely, but I've also gained a lot of respect for people and stuff, so I try my best not to make other people feel alienated like that. But yeah, no, it's just, there are moments in the movie where I'm like, fucking A. There's this moment whenever Daisy lays her head down on Jay Gatsby's lap and he like points out at the water and stuff. Like that was one of the exact position. Like we were on a bench in Colombia, down by fucking Baja outside of Schurz Hall, which is a deep cut for Mizzou ball knowers. But sitting on this bench right outside there, this little street light was right next to us, a little lamp light, and she'd laid her head in my lap. And every moment in that period of time was tinged with such a deep sadness because I was like, well, it's not me. And you want it to be me. I want it to be me, but it's not me. And there are moments whenever Jay, at the end of this movie, whenever he goes, you shut up, and he like nearly knocks the fucking shit out of Tom, where I'm like, God, part of me wishes I'd had any opportunity to do something like that. But also growing up is also realizing Jay, while romantic as all hell and hopeful and beautiful, is that he's incredibly naive.
Yes.
Incredibly naive and incredibly incapable of allowing himself to grow. He's stagnating. He's beating on against the current into the past.
Yes. Yeah. Kind of a similar, not quite the Wolf of Wall Street, like where it is a Leo character that a lot of people gravitate to, and it's like, well, you're actually not supposed to like him. I feel like this is like, there's a lot that you can take away from Jay that is like, you actually like her, like, like his perspective on love, how it is like very much, you can't let that go. But like there is a point in which that is like, I don't know where I stand either, because like I don't ever want to let part of my heart go, but it shouldn't determine what your entire future should be, which is kind of what he was like. His entire life, everything was for her, and everything, and on one hand it's cheesy and romantic and like that's what you want, but then on the other is like, well, he went down quite the different path that he probably wouldn't have at all if the love or that motivation was never there. But there is this it is a tragedy at the end. I feel like there is death, there is quite a lot goes down, but it is like a Jordan Belfort in a way of like, man, I'm rooting for him kind of during the movie, but then after it's over, I'm like, should I have been like rooting for him the whole time? And like he, on the romantic side, is like, yeah, like no, like this is just the right people, wrong time, and they got to get back together. But then there's a lot of Gatsby that like the whole side of him that we don't get to see, you know, and we only get to see small parts come out, and like the very, you know, the drug lord or alcohol baron that he is, I guess, you know, is that all that it is, you know, or is there more that we don't see? I don't know, but
right.
the fact of like that he built his life based on his imagination. I feel like that love and imagination are like two things that I just, you know, there's no understanding them, but they are crucial components to me. Like they're two of my favorite things that there are in the world, and I feel like love just gets you to imagine things. Like you have someone that you see a future with, and it's not, you don't even have to think of it. You're like, I see us old, I see us with children, I see us doing this, and you know, it's not even that I'm trying to think of it. It is just that because you're here, it's just those thoughts are there, and like that is
it broadens your horizons.
And like
people, there are a lot of people who view it as limiting, but like it traps you. But that's just not the case. That's just, like at all. It completely opens your world up.
Yeah, like you can be like, they are sitting on the couch and they only know that each other are there. They don't give a fuck about the rest of the world. And yeah, that might be limiting, but like that is it. You know, that you can snap out of it and the world's still there. But for them in that moment is like nothing else does matter. Like all of this wealth, all of the cars, the houses, the parties, you know, that none of it actually matters. And the whole point, or the whole reason that he's even there, is for love in the first place. It is to try to win her back over and to be like, yeah, no, you know, the life is here, you know, everything we wanted, it's here now. We can do it. And it's like,
she wants to run away.
Yeah.
The that's where the greed kind of seeps through on Gatsby's part. He wants it all. You know, he's not willing to sacrifice what he's built for Daisy strictly. You know, it's kind of it kind of poisons him. If he had just ran away when she said, "Let's just run away," they would have lived, or he would have lived, and they would have been fine, and they would have ridden off into the sunset together. But he's like, she doesn't get it. This is it. Yeah. This is everything. This is all anyone could ever want. Why does she not? Why does she not commit? And it's because she was never going to. You know. And that's just kind of the way things are.
Whenever like that, the big scene of, you know, it's all coming out and we're having the intervention, and you know, it's like she never loved you. You know, he's very much speaking for her, and even though he is telling the truth, or like for the most part, you know, she does come out
the truth as far as he knows it.
Yes, but it's like, well, let her talk. You know, or like and it is like it feels very much like, you know, men just grabbing at the woman, and it like Daisy, I wish there was maybe a little more like to her character. You know, I wish she was a little bit more independent in the movie, you know, or like she had some more. It felt like it was just she was just being.
It's all incredibly when it comes to Daisy, and I appreciate Carey Mulligan's performance of Daisy incredibly. I think that a lot of what happens for her is very internalized. I think you can see guilt painted on her face a lot. Whenever she, you know, breaks down crying after he throws all the clothes down at her and stuff, and she's, you know, she's losing it, and, you know, all she can bring herself to say is, I've never seen shirts so beautiful. I've never seen shirts so beautiful. Just the guilt of having married Tom, you know, kind of wishing she hadn't done that, but also experiencing this joy with this man who is not Tom. There's a lot of conflicting stuff going on for her, which is another reason why I don't really, maybe this is a reflection of me and my history, I don't really blame Daisy, you know, like I don't. I think that Tom's kind of Tom's a loose cannon, and there's this element to it where, you know, she did have to have loved him at some point. You know, if you're going to find yourself in that position, there was a point in time when it was at least kind of good, good enough for you to be here at all. And that's why I'm like, it's incredibly compelling to see that moment play out whenever he's like, she never loved you, you know? And she's like,
yeah.
She's like, don't say that, you know, like that's just not fucking true. You know, I did, and I'm sorry I did, but I loved you too. I loved you the whole time, you know, like it's, and that's another quintessential thing about the movie that I think is really important, is that it dispels this notion of, the one, I think. I don't believe in soulmates. I don't believe in anything like that, just because, not to say that I don't believe in true love or anything like that. I absolutely do, but I don't think people have one soulmate. I think that there are multiple people out there for everybody. I don't think it's just one person.
Yeah,
I think that would be incredibly limiting.
And I don't know if I'm tooting my own horn here too much, but like I feel like I could love anyone. Like even like
right.
There is obviously people that I will, you know, be like, okay, we obviously disagree too much, or we're on different planes, and you know, whatever. But like I feel like that if I just human to human, like open up in a way that is like I don't even know how to put it into words, but just to open the heart up to anyone, I feel like it is. There isn't just one person on the planet that I click with, you know. It is something that you have to work for. It's not like you're just born and then eventually you'll find each other and everything will make sense and then it's just you know, there you go. No, I like it. Love is very much so a thing that has to take place. Like it is, you can think about it all you want. Like I'm in the stage of thinking about it way more than practicing, you know. I am a deep romantic at heart, but not a practicing romantic, you know. It's like I love to I don't know, think of all these things, but as far as the last time that I have given my heart like that to anyone, yeah, it's been almost 2 years. Oh my God, to think of the timeline of that. Yeah, it's like it's
a while ago.
It's been a long time, and yeah, so it's like it's more of a I know how easily I can open my heart up to anyone that like. I know that my love is kind of there, like for anyone, and it's there. But as far as like if it is a two-way street, or if it is truly right, like that's what scares me. Not that I'm holding out to find the one, but that if I am I jumping the gun too early because I'm a little, you know, just like Toby here, like, you know, seeing the good in people and reserving all those judgments until you know otherwise.
I am again within and without. Yeah, I love Nick Carraway, by the way. Incredible character that I think Tobey Maguire brings to life very, very compellingly. I actually got a question last night. I did, while I was watching the movie, I did one of those drunk AMAs, Ask Me Anything, and someone who I didn't respond to at the time because I'd saved it for the podcast, asked, since you're watching it, what character in The Great Gatsby do you see yourself most in? And not a great movie to see yourself in anybody.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a movie, and naturally you're going to relate to aspects of characters, and I think I'm a healthy combination of Jay and Nick Carraway.
Yes,
and
the good
I would
parts
say,
of them. Yes,
definitely. Yeah, and definitely, and all the worst parts of Tom. No, I'm just kidding. Can't toot my horn too much. I don't want to say I'm the best part of the two main characters in the movie, but you know, no, I'm just kidding.
No, you are. From an outside source, I can confirm.
I appreciate it. Yeah. But that's the other thing, is that there's a really compelling, I don't know, universality to the love story being told, and obviously it takes place in high society, 20s New York. East and West Egg, and it's like, you know, we're coming from big money, and you know, I there's no part of that I can even come close to relating to, but I love that love is a universal language, and the fact that anybody can understand how this story unfolds the way it does is beautiful. You know, Tom's possessiveness resulting in the death of not only his mistress but Jay Gatsby, and the fact that he didn't have to do any of it.
He might have pushed whoever that husband was in the right, George Wilson, I guess. Good old
George Wilson.
Good old Georgie. But yeah, maybe push George in the right direction. Something's got to happen to that guy.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was just I feel like it is in high society. It is in New York, but take this all the way back to freaking primal times, I don't know, like a social status was always a thing. It might not be money in the way we think about it now, but like, someone who is socially up or, on a tier above you that you feel jealous for, and a girl, I don't know, all of these things, it is timeless. It is, no matter what the year is, it's going to happen in, I hope, in the next, 200 years, unless we're all robots at that point and love is gone. But this story can be told at any point in time, and like a medieval castle, even any human. I feel like love has always been the same, which is a weird thought. Is or did people had to have loved just as hard as we do now? Maybe we can do it a little more because we're not fighting for survival every single day like humans were back then. But like, I feel like the capacity is just the same. There's no difference between love before and now, and that it is like it's nice to take it to these heights and make it very clear whenever you're at the richest of the rich, and a guy coming from dirt poor, and
the extravagance of it, and oh my God, I love the production design. I love the costuming. I love the aesthetics of this movie. It is genuinely breathtaking to look at. And being able to set this in the Roaring 20s backdrop is just a fucking gift. I love that they were able to do this, because I love the Gatsby parties. I love the way those look. I love the hairstyles and the costume pieces, and like I said, the production design. I love the anachronistic soundtrack that kind of blends 20s 20s big band and jazz and everything like that with modern day, like even in the background of certain songs, they're doing like 20s jazz versions of Crazy in Love by Beyonce. You know, like you hear like a horn going in the background, and the lyrics that they're saying, love's got me going so crazy right now, the love got me going so crazy right now, got me so crazy in love, got me looking so crazy in love. And I'm like, damn, that's good. Like, I love the way they blend that stuff. They've got a Jay-Z fucking Reasonable Doubt track dropped in the middle of this. H to the is O, V to the is A. Like, that's fucking sick.
There was the Lana Del Rey.
Who Gonna Stop Me?
I don't know what Lana
Young
Del
and
Rey
Beautiful
song it was. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. And that was nice. Like, it was very cool.
And that's the thing, is there's a lot of music that was made for this movie. And Young and Beautiful is one of those songs. Like, that was... Lana Del Rey wrote that song for this movie.
Dang.
No Church in the Wild was written for this movie.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
No Church in the Wild was that? It's because of Gatsby? That's wild.
It's because of Great Gatsby.
I mean, Jay-Z, I guess, who could have known? I don't even truly know what's up with them. Jay-Z and Beyonce, they seem to just dropped off the map, or I don't know how much they control in this, whatever. But no, at the time, like, I remember,
dude,
like, hearing Jay-Z was just kind of the hardest guy there was. Like, I feel like,
stop. That whole part of the movie, who gonna stop me, huh?
Yeah,
that party sequence in Myrtle's the Myrtle apartment, like, that's sick. And then you've got the guy across the way playing the trombone on the fire escape, like, and splicing that, like, it's
that
fucking
scene.
sick.
Oh, I love that when Toby's looking out
love
the window
the
and he's like, the variations of life, like, to be like, that's why New York City, or like a massive city, just
a big city is just
the
so
fuck out of me. It's like, it's so cool, but it's like, holy shit, yeah, you look out your window and in one building you see hundreds of different lives, like, and then that pull out, the zoom out of like, nope, that's just one block of New York, and then to show every other building. And
you remember there's that sequence in After Hours whenever Griffin Dunn's character is running around the city and he's hiding, and then he like looks through a window, he sees two people fucking, he looks through another window, he sees someone shoot somebody, and he's like, I'll probably get blamed for that. You know, like that's a that idea that we talked about on Blue Velvet, which is that you just never know what's happening inside people's homes and stuff. Like this is I mean, an incredible version of it, an incredible take on it. And I love that there's a lot of dialogue straight ripped from the book.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
This movie frames Nick Carraway as the writer of The Great Gatsby. It basically frames him as F. Scott Fitzgerald, which is not what the book does.
Okay. I was going to ask the differences between the movie and book.
It's pretty honorable as far as like the events that actually take place. I also think the movie is a lot more forgiving of Gatsby, you know? Not that, and the book's not like, and Gatsby was actually a piece of shit and stuff, but like, I don't know. I think just kind of putting faces to it, like seeing Nick Carraway's reverence for Jay is different than reading it. So like the way Tobey Maguire looks at Leonardo DiCaprio, and whenever he delivers that last line, like I was always glad I said that. You know, you're better than the whole lot of them put together. You know, like that whole like. There's just a lot more love and reverence for Jay in this than you read in the book, I think. I think it's just getting to see people look at each other. Like, that's the weight of performance, really. And, I mean, this movie's full of them. This is, without a doubt, and this is saying a lot, because he's a good-looking man, the best Leonardo DiCaprio has ever looked. He is so fucking fine in this movie. In my opinion, I think it's prime Leo age. You know, the time that people consider Leo as hottest, I think he just looks too young. Titanic era, he looks like a fucking baby to me. I can't, he's pretty, but I can't think he's hot. This Leo, fine as fuck.
You might be right. Yeah, I'm like, it is, he is too young in Titanic. He obviously has always been a fucking hot-ass human being.
Always a good-looking man,
But yeah, he definitely has entered the hot zone, I feel like, here. And to have...
Just works for him. The whole look, the blonde hair, like the hairstyle specifically works for him, too. Whenever he is in that pink suit, that they're like, big man in a pink suit. I love that. The white suit that he wears in the flower sequence, like, he just looks good a lot of the time.
The nerves of that scene where he's like standing up by the fireplace. He's like, okay, it's happening. And I gotta leave. She's not coming. It's way too late. Oh no, fuck. All right, I'll sit back down.
That's probably my favorite scene in the movie. For the reunion alone, whenever he walks in and they see each other, and it's just like time stops. Oh my God, I love that.
And he did leave, and he came back all soaking wet, in the rain, and it is like
only making it more romantic. Yep. That's just it was actually a brilliant tactic on his part. And then the way they're just standing there for a while with Nick in between them, and he's fiddling with the clock. I'll have someone come by to fix that, and he like tries to slam it in, and it doesn't work, dude. Like, fucking hilarious.
Good old Toby,
I love that.
Being like, all right, I gotta go into town. Actually, yes. I forgot
fucking
a thing.
Wingman,
gotta go. I love how it's like that's his cousin, right?
Daisy, yeah.
And then but Daisy is kind of okay. Like she thought that it was him not even Gatsby setting all this up. She's like, oh, you love me. So it was like I was like, oh. I guess that was like that's interesting.
Yeah. And there's also an interesting. This is the high society of the time. Like, I don't know that it was exactly unbeknownst to man for cousins to get down.
I guess
keep the
to
bloodline.
Keep it in the family. Yeah.
Which is strange.
But
I mean, but regardless, she's also not like, yay! She's just kind of like, holy shit, he does love me. Like, she is kind of like, what? Whoa. okay, here, Nikki. You know, like she's still going to treat him nice and stuff, but, you know, I think it was going to go unrequited if that was the case. But yeah, no, she is. I love that scene. I love the way it looks. The flowers framing everything is beautiful. There's actually a shot before Daisy even gets there with Leo standing on the left side of the screen and Toby sitting on the right side of the screen. He's like looking straight at him, and it's like Toby's profile perfectly. Just from a photography perspective, one of my favorite things to do when watching a movie is picking out when a perfect still photograph could be taken, and that would just be a gorgeous picture without it being a movie.
Yeah, the flowers. I mean, yeah, maybe a little much, you know, or Toby even being like, yeah, but maybe a couple more flowers. Actually, I think we need a little more. But no,
they are beautiful though, aren't they?
Obviously, made the scene freaking gorgeous. And yeah, whenever Toby does walk back in, and then like their heads are perfectly aligned, and you can't even like you just see like them. I mean, you don't see them looking at it. You only see the back of Leo's head, and that's it. But it's like perfectly covering up Daisy.
Dude, I love it. I love it. It's one of those feelings that's so special to experience, and then to see it depicted so perfectly also works for me. I love that they literally have Toby like try everything. You know, he's making loud noises, he's slamming pots around, and they're just all in it, smiling at each other, talking to each other. And he's even like, "Oh my god, holy like, shit, I'm not even here."
Like, damn. All right, whatever. But that feeling of being able to look into someone's eyes and not look away, you know, like it is like most. Even if you know some, like talking to your mother or father, like you look at them in the eyes for maybe like 50% of the conversation, if that. Like we always look away, or like eye contact is weird for human. Like it's almost like we're nervous for everyone to make eye contact, but to be able to lose yourself completely and just talk with someone and not even budge, to not even think to look anywhere else is like, oh, it's one of my favorite. I love to fucking just. Like, I don't know, to anywhere, doesn't have to, any situation, just to sit down and talk, to really talk. That, that's
stuff.
nice.
It's good stuff.
So yeah,
it's intimate. That's intimate.
It's only, I guess making me like, I always yearn for the romantic life again, you know.
Real yearner. Real certified yearner over here.
Been yearning for too long. Yeah, I don't know. I need to get that back in my life, but it just
well, the good news is you got time. You got time. We're chilling, you know, like it's busy fella. You know, you got school, you know, you got stuff going on.
That's
like
true.
It's a lot. The reason I met Emily at all is because I was like working a delivery job and we matched on Bumble. So like it's really easy. Like that was just really like Emily, like when it comes to the story of us like meeting earlier, you mentioned like I could love anybody, and I don't want this to sound like bad in any capacity, because I love Emily with all my heart. She's my everything, and I want to give her the world. I want to be able to Jay Gatsby her. I have no means of doing that, but I wish I could. But genuinely matched with her on Bumble. She was the first Bumble date I went on, and we've been together ever since. You know, like that was it. Like we matched. I'd never been on a Bumble date before. I'd been on one Tinder date. It was 2 years prior. You know, like it was 2 years before, and I was like, we matched on Bumble. We talked for a couple days. I was like, you know, it was COVID, so we didn't want to go out, so I just had her come over and we hung out. We watched Hamilton, we watched La La Land, and then she never left my house. That was kind of it, you know, like that was just how it went, and that's awesome, you know. Like speaking of the like nostalgia, it's funny how things shift, you know, until Emily. We're at that time of year now where it's November, we're heading into December, and, you know, it's cuffing season. It's typically a nostalgic time anyway. For years, the only person it reminded me of was that first love. Every Christmas, I was like, God damn, I wish. And then one Christmas 5 years ago, I got my wish, just in a different packaging. And now, whenever the beginning of December rolls around, whenever Christmas decorations start going up, it makes me nostalgic for the beginning of mine and Emily's relationship. And the fact that nostalgia is so subjective in that way, where I'm as nostalgic for stuff that happened 5 years ago as I am for stuff that happened 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, ever changing.
I love that that's possible, and it's really, really lovely, man. I think that, and that specific time gap too, the 5 years thing was wild. Whenever I was watching it again, because I was like, no fucking shot, dude, because like genuinely, I had my first like real conversation with my first love just a couple days ago. Like the timing was insane. You know, I'm revisiting Great Gatsby for this reason. She happens to hit me up about, I think it was about Stranger Things, because I posted something about it, and then it just turned into this long conversation. We were catching up, you know, saying a bunch of stuff that, you know, we've always probably been wanting to say for the last few years, but just haven't been in a comfortable enough position to do it. And now we're both like firmly in our lives, and it's like, yep, cool. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm very happy for you. And so like just the 5 year thing being mentioned, I was like, no fucking shot, dude. And then they were like 5 years ago last November, 5 years ago this November. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, November. I was like, no. But
you can't repeat the past. Is it future or is it past here?
Or is it past?
This is a very prophetic. Very. But yeah.
Hopefully I don't get shot and die in a pool.
Yeah, no, we need it to stop. I think,
and it has. The cycle hath ended. The cycle hath ended.
Don't want it to end the same way. And yeah, I guess my theory part of my brain, there's not much to go. The only question that I kind of do ask is like, was it truly Daisy driving at the end there, or was it Jay? Like, is he actually a coward? Like at the core, and is he still using her? What was that going to be his way to like escape? I don't know, or like is that
no?
Yeah, I don't think so.
He was too romantic for that. He was willing to put himself in the line of fire for Daisy. Daisy would have been locked away, or whatever, and he decided to not confess. Obviously, he still didn't want to be arrested, but like he was like, "Yep, I did it. That was me. My bad." And
then to know like how much is the lie, or like how much is an act? How much is he still acting? I love the like Toby is like, "Oh, who was that? Like an actor? Or whatever. Like obviously you're telling me a lie, or like I can just hear it in the way you talk." But then whenever he's like, all right, I'm telling you the truth. Like, and then it was like that one night they stayed up, or waiting for the sun, and it was like genuine, like it was the genuine speak coming from him, or like the true genuine talk.
It told me about Dan Cody, old sport. I love it, man. I do. I think it's just an incredible movie. And like I said, it just, obviously stirs up all sorts of stuff for me nostalgically.
Yes.
But yeah, and
going on for you. That's for
oh
sure.
yeah. No, and that's what's cool too, is that like I appreciate that I can approach it from a place that I'm sure there will be people who jump to conclusions when listening to this about like my intentions and what I'm talking about. But it's really not complicated. Like life happens, things happen, and I'm in the best relationship I've ever been in. I'm deeply in love, and there's nothing that could change that. And that's why nostalgia is just that. It's nostalgia. That's why I don't take Jay Gatsby to be this, perfect image of what love is, because you do have to learn to let go. And that's extremely important. I think that that's part of growing up generally. And him trying to beat against the current and dig into the past is what killed him.
It feels,
I adore it, man.
Feels like wrong, or feels taboo to be like that. that the loves you had before still affect you now. Like it feels like it is.
But that's just part of life.
It's just like if I, growing up, and I still to this day love Star Wars, and it's like and as a kid it was everything of my life. But it's like if I then have a new franchise that comes along that has the same amount of love as Star Wars, it's like all of that Star Wars love that I experienced for 25 years, just is it gone because something new came away? No. It's like it if anything, it was the stepping stone to get there to the next step and everything. So yeah, it's like
and and all that I'm talking about here, I've talked about with Emily. This isn't stuff I'm like hiding. Like I have expressly spoken to her about this because we've had very different experience in relationships. She thoroughly despises her exes. She's been in far worse relationships than I have. And more of them. I've only had 2 real relationships prior to Emily. And one of them, like I said, I probably wasn't in all the way because of the other one.
Yes.
And that's, I look back on them with indulgence. I want to remember it positively. You know what I'm saying? Like, did I have, are there bad memories that come with it too? Yeah. But I don't spend time thinking about that because ultimately it all worked out. It all paid off for the better. And, whenever it comes to love, and I've told Emily this too, like, for me, it doesn't end. No, I'm not in love, obviously, but I'll always have a love in my heart for these people. And I kind of say that to her to, like, I don't know, I view that as incredibly reassuring. That God forbid something happens for me and Emily, like that would be the worst thing in the world. I would have no idea what to do if me and Emily broke up. I would feel just devastated. And the concept though, that no matter what, I would still love her. I don't know, or she would still love me. I don't know. That just, I don't know. There's a solace to take in that. I think there's a beauty in that, because when it comes to couples, like, it's a nightmare scenario to me. There are couples who are together for 10 fucking years and then break up. No idea how that's possible. Having been in a relationship for about 5 years now, I don't know how it happens. Blows me away that happens. But nobody ever sees it coming. It's not something that they're like, well, we're probably going to break up at about the 10-year mark. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is something that happens, and that's fucking terrifying.
The numbers aren't good. Like, the odds are stacked against love. I feel like, it's a very scary game, or to look at like the ends of it, which if you just look at the ends of everything, then it does seem very down and poor. But it's like, no, think of those 10 years they were together, and then to define it by just the splitting up feels very wrong. And I like, for me, to speak from my experience, I've had a singular true relationship, and it only lasted for a little over 1.5 years, and so, like, not even that long.
More than long enough.
But like through all the phases and every, like, I don't know, actually lived together for a little bit, and like actually truly knew each other. And like I think we both know that, like, just in this life, it just wasn't made for us. There's just not the time. But I don't doubt for a second that the love is still there. There is still a connection that can never be severed. That there is it is something that is just always there, and we have to move on. And continue on. But there is. Yeah, like, no matter who I meet in the future, like, not to, I don't know, it's not like that I'll never be able to love them in the same way. It's just that, no, part of my heart is just always, it can't ever go away. Like, those memories are real. They did happen.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is that I say part of my heart, part of your heart, whatever. it's also not a finite resource.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that occupying space doesn't impede upon other space. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it can, but whenever it comes to, you hear, love is a battlefield, love is hard work, and there's an element of that that's true, but I don't know, like, it is dumbfounding to me that people cheat on people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not hard. Yeah. That's actually extremely easy not to do. Like, I've been incredibly drunk, and never once while I was incredibly drunk did I go, you know what? I'm going to have sex with another girl. That would be fucking terrible. There's not and the idea that there are people who do that and then go back and go, oh, it meant nothing. It means fucking everything, dude. Like, you never take back a cheater. Please, never take back a cheater. I understand that will be your inclination. You love this person. Don't take back a cheater. That shit is not difficult to not do. There's a lot of stuff that whenever people talk about how hard love is, I'm like, it's not if you're willing to give yourself over to it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like, understanding and compromise. Like, I don't know if I'm just good at it. To toot my own horn once more. I don't know if I've just got this shit figured out. But I don't know. 5 years deep into a relationship, and I must sound like a fucking idiot to somebody who's, had a whole marriage and done all this sort of stuff. But, it hasn't been difficult ever. Anytime it even gets kind of difficult, what buoys me is the love. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Is like, oh, but I do love you. So, yep, we'll get through it. It'll be fine. And like, that's something that whenever it comes to unrequited love, like what Gatsby has for Daisy, and what Daisy and Tom have that toxic version of sharing, it's never going to be easy because none of them are willing to give themselves fully while still maintaining a sense of self also, like Gatsby's whole existence was Daisy. And whenever Nick narrates that moment whenever he looks across the dock and he sees the green light, and now it's just a green light. Mm-hmm. He's not chasing anything anymore. He's got it. What now? Like, yeah. Now that green light is just a green light. It is no longer a symbol of, what he's been longing for. And then him not being willing to give it all up to be with her. And there's just circumstantial stuff that, like, if you really want this to work out, you can make it work out. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just, you can. It's possible. It's not, I don't know. I don't know. And it's not, obviously, I'm talking like everything is one thing. There's no absolutes. Everything is, varied. But, I don't know. There's certain stuff that's just like, you could probably figure it out.
Mm-hmm. It is a river, You can either fight against the current or surrender to it and go, go wherever it takes you. And yeah, it's like some rivers, they end in waterfalls, but some rivers go out to the ocean or some lakes, So it's like you don't know until you get there rivers at the end.
Rivers and roads.
But you can, you got to take the path. Either you got to flow down it either way. Because I mean, if you always go upstream, you'll never, you will never know. But yeah, it is like you're rooting for him the whole movie, and then when he's like, no, we gotta stay, it's like, man, it's like you were so perfect in every way, and then it's like, come on, you got this is the runaway option that does make sense, it's like but you want the town, you want the spectacle. I feel like like you want people to know that you're together instead of just being together.
That you won.
Yeah.
So there's and the the mess of it. I'm not immune. Mess is fun. Drama is fun. But if it comes at such a high cost, you let that shit go. Okay? It's not hard. Mess is a lot of fun. I've enjoyed my share of mess. As you heard a little bit ago, I carried out a very long emotional affair with a woman in a very long relationship. Like, that's not an ideal situation to be in. But like I said, I don't really regret it because that shit was fun. Like, it was. And that sucks, but it was. And it's not good, but it was fun. Hey, I don't know.
On the grand scheme of what humans can do, that is, you are not murdering. You are not, there's actual bad that can be done. You are just allowing emotions to flow at the end, is all that is going on. And that's
okay, enabler. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but it's like a
no, holding yourself accountable for things like that is important, though, and I do agree that there are far worse things that can be done. But that's why I'm like, when it comes to the mess of it, that's what is kind of intoxicating about it for Nick in this movie. It's like a train wreck he can't look away from.
Yeah.
He loves the mess. He loves being in it. He's been a watcher. I remember that from college. You like to watch. Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And now it's his fucking cousin, too, which is like,
it's his,
damn. And he literally wrote, she blossomed like a flower for him. That's like that's an interest, I guess you got to put it in some way. But
he is artful with the words. He is indeed. But
got him to pick up the pen.
That was one of the connections too that I was just like, you got to be fucking kidding. This is crazy. Was whenever Nick's like, I can give you guys alone time. Like, you guys can. And Jay's like, nah, you should come. You should definitely come with us because if you don't, we'll be alone. And that's That's when bad things happen whenever someone's married or in a relationship. Yeah, that was the position that the friend that was like, never make me do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I get it. Sorry. Wasn't the last time though. Wasn't the last time.
Timeless.
Timeless.
It is
timeless.
It just, and no matter what level of life you're on, we don't need to be in the roaring 20s. We don't need to be old money, new money, whatever. No.
Be a broke ass college student.
Yep.
That's right. Right.
But my story's out there. It'll start someday. The next chapter.
It already has. In a fashion.
Who knows?
In some capacity. That's how I look at it. It's all one story. It's all one story. It's just different chapters. I'm very, very happy to have revisited this movie. It is one of those ones that just pushes all the right buttons for me. Makes me cry like a motherfucker. The end of this movie is so sad. And I love it. I love it. So
talk about a actual, like, for the month. For nostalgic, love. It doesn't get much more nostalgic than Love. I
forgot that the movie is partially about nostalgia. Like, it's like, not in such strict terms, but Gatsby's chasing the past the whole movie. He's trying to live in it. He's trying to live in his stories. Like, that's good stuff. I'd forgotten that it thematically fits so perfectly for that reason, not just my reasons. But yeah, so I tried my best to make the podcast earn its name today by being a little sentimental and candid about things. But
and last week I broke down the most complex movie there was. I got deep
last week we literally asked the question, now, do the robots evolve why do the robots evolve based on human metrics?
Yes.
There are no humans. How do they listen to human music? They are robots.
And now it's like, love as a philosophy. We're breaking down the philosophy of love right now, and how to feel, how to open the heart. Yeah, no, this.
And that's the beauty of the show, man.
Yin
That's
and
why
yang.
I love doing it.
Yeah.
That's
Good
why we did Nostalgia November, is because we get the opportunity to discuss a lot of very different movies, but they're connected by that theme of nostalgia, and I love it. But yeah, The Great Gatsby, an incredible movie, one that I understand won't be everyone's favorite, but it's definitely one of mine. So with that, I think I will conclude the episode, but I will do plugs, and then we can rate the movie, and we'll see you next week. But yeah, the Sentimentalists will be back next week with Fantastic Mr. Fox on Thanksgiving Day. I'm very, very excited for that. Leave a 5-star rate and review. Download wherever you might be listening. I would appreciate it greatly. We've also got Fire Pod with me, a Twin Peaks podcast friendly to the first-time viewer and the rewatcher alike. I'm rewatching it. Joseph is watching it for the first time. We're having a great time. We love doing it. If you've never seen Twin Peaks, you got to watch it. And then if you happen to want a podcast about it, we've also got that for you. We've also got Geek with Me, a nerd shit podcast, which has been going on for almost 7 years, which is crazy. 6.5 years. Absolutely batshit insane. But it's got over 600 episodes, tons of backlog. If you're looking for more movie stuff, there's a ton over there, even more than we have here on the movie dedicated podcast. But that's mostly dedicated to nerd shit now, comic book movie stuff, comic books, fantasy stuff, science fiction, all that good stuff. It's where we get to geek the fuck out on Geek With Me. And next month in December, we're celebrating the Force Awakens 10-year anniversary. So you got that to look forward to.
Still hits every time.
Yeah, turning 10.
Like,
Speaking of nostalgia,
shit.
turning 10 there.
A decade ago. Holy fuck.
A decade ago, which is fucking insane. Yeah.
Damn.
Fucking A. Just thinking about what life was like 10 years ago.
I wrote an essay over that movie before it came out of why Rey was Obi-Wan's daughter, and that was Miss Schubert's class. I remember it was for her. Yeah.
Schubert.
And turned it in. I turned an essay in over that movie, which is crazy.
I love it.
But wow.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, no, it's I love the movie as well. So I'm excited to revisit it and discuss it at length, probably over a couple of things. I know that we want to do a live commentary of it as well. So we got that to look forward to. And yeah, the Sentimentalists will obviously be going on into December. We haven't nailed down precisely what we're going to be doing. We have a few options on the table, but we will be back next week to officially confirm what that project will be. And I'm very excited for it. So with that, let's go ahead and rate this movie. How are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10 about The Great Gatsby?
Well, I guess didn't bring it up during the pod. Actually, the thought just hit me now of the Babylon kind of connection, or
that's right. I forgot to bring that up at all. Massive influence on Babylon.
Yeah, and I love like what Babylon did of like it apparently, like, not getting the. I felt like after I watched that movie, I'm like, this has to be just universally loved, right? Like, holy shit, this movie was incredible, and then it wasn't, and that was weird. I feel like this one is probably more universally loved than Babylon. I think, it's had the time to cook as well a little bit more, but like it's before. My previous watches weren't true watches anyways. It was, I always did remember good things of it though. And like big actors, it looked incredible. It was so extravagant, and like, the roaring, I mean, it just, thanks to the roaring 20s, man, what it would be like to live during that time. But yeah, it's like, I've only ever had good thoughts. And then now on this watch to be like, oh wait, so the story actually bangs. And like, it is, can appreciate the filming, and I don't know, so much, everything on a higher level. I'm even higher. Yeah. I'm higher than Robots. That's for sure. And I gave that an 8.5. I think this is 9 territory. I think, yeah, I don't know. I like the, it's a weird comparison, but my mind jumped to 9.5. for this, for anything to get me love going. And Bram Stoker's Dracula is the most recent 9.5. To be like, yeah, obviously on the same level, I hold these there, but I don't know.
Yeah, no kidding.
That is,
but no, stylistically, they're very, very, very stylish pieces. You know, like they do compare very, very interestingly. And you know, as nostalgic a movie as it is for me, I have a tough time not matching you there. You know, I think I'll go ahead and take it to the same place. I think I'll go ahead and do a 9.5 as well.
There we go. Easy man.
And you know, nostalgia is a little blinding. I know there are a lot of people who'll be like 95%. Holy fuck, are you insane? And yeah, a little bit. But love makes you insane. Love makes you crazy. And I love this movie, man. I'm a big fan of The Great Gatsby. So,
love
gotta give it to
everything
it. Gotta
better.
give it to it.
More love.
Yeah, it does.
It can't be bad. So
More
yeah.
love.
Just
Love that shit, man. Love it dearly. So I think with that, we can conclude this episode of The Sentimentalists. Like I said, we'll be back next week on Thanksgiving with a live commentary of Fantastic Mr. Fox. But with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. I love you, buddy.
Oh, I love you too, homie. And it is always a pleasure to be here, as always.
And it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, to all the people I've loved before, I'll love you forever.